Hey everyone, my name is Jack Bourne, founder of Deadline Funnel. My next guest built a following of over 1 million people on social media, and his videos and ads have been viewed over 100 million times, if you can believe that. Would you be interested in learning his process for taking one single video and turning it into content across the biggest social media platforms out there so you get a ton of attention, followers, and you can use this process to even lower your advertising costs? His name is Peng Joon, and he's here to teach you this process. So if you want to reach a huge audience, then pay very close attention because that's what we're about to cover. Now, let me tell you about Peng Joon. After nearly failing university, Peng struggled to land a job and was heavily in debt. He spent his 20s playing World of Warcraft and turned this passion into a business that made him his first million. He decided to show others how to monetize what they know through live events, now held in over 20 plus countries around the world. He has become a #1 best-selling author. Peng has spoken at events all over the world, and he's shared the stage with Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, and many other business thought leaders. Great to have you here, Peng.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm really excited to jump right into this. So why don't we start by explaining your method, and maybe we could start and go through it step by step.
Awesome. So for a really long time, one of the things that I realized that was crucial in getting more leads and converting leads to sales was using social media. But the problem is, I never felt that I was the type of person to go online, think about what to post, take a selfie, take a bunch, post a bunch of hashtags. And I felt like I wasn't meant for the game. But at the same time, I realized the importance of utilizing it the right way in order to get more reach, in order to get my message out there, in order to create effective ads. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that every single piece of content that I put out there, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, was being maximized. So what I did was I created a process in terms of how do I strategically and systematically create content so that the algorithms love it. Number two, I'm not just getting likes, comments, and shares, which doesn't really mean anything, but I'm ultimately utilizing it to monetize through either selling my own products or selling other people's products as an affiliate. And that's going to be our core of our focus today. So basically, our focus here today is it's going to be this. It's my unlimited traffic scaling strategy. And how you can, by the time we are done with today's presentation, you'll be able to see how you can do it as well. So our core focus here for today is these few things. Number one, I'm going to be showing you how I use this process to scale my ads to over $10 million in ad spend, in profitable ad spend. I think that's a keyword here, without getting my account shut down. While lowering ad costs at the same time, and how you can utilize this process even if you feel you're not a creative person. Some of the techniques that you're going to be discovering over here in the next 30 minutes or so, you're going to see that even if you're not original, even if you feel that you might not necessarily know what's trending, I'm going to be showing you a few different resources that you can utilize so that you can create these different hooks based on what's trending, that the platforms will love and reward you for, that you can utilize both organically and paid. I'm also going to show you how I use this process in order to build that organic following. So whether you want to build that following on Facebook, and even though the landscape today is pretty much pay to play and Facebook organic on pages, doesn't really mean anything. I'm going to show you how I use that and repurpose it so that I use it on Instagram as well. I built close to 1 million followers on Instagram. And ultimately how this entire process leads to monetization. Because ultimately, we all know that the vanity metrics, the likes, comments, and shares, you can't, cash it in. But I'm going to show you how I utilize this strategically and how this leads to more leads into your pipelines and how you'll be able to convert these leads into sales. So I'm also going to be showing you how this entire method is the fuel for all of my funnels or sales processes. And if you guys that's watching or listening to this, if you're familiar with the whole ClickFunnels community, they hand out these awards, and I've gotten these different awards for specific milestones hit in sales. And I can tell you that the majority of all of my traffic is based off the strategies that you're about to discover here today. So this strategy has enabled me to scale my business to over 8 figures a year. And I want to be able to walk you through how I've used these techniques, not just to sell my own products, but how these techniques will also work for you if you want to use it to promote other people's products. So if you're selling products, whether it's physical products or digital products or other people's software as an affiliate, you'll be able to do that as well. I have utilized this technique to promote softwares where they pay me every single month through my social media. I've won prizes with it, and I've utilized it to win affiliate contests by just understanding how to maximize every single piece of content that I put out there, right? So with that said, that's like the what and the why. Let's talk about the how, right? So hope you guys are excited. These steps are literally the steps that has changed everything for me, changed the game. So let's begin. Okay, so the question we want to think about first is what's really feeding our sales process, right? So whatever funnel that you might have, whether it's a webinar funnel, whether it's a free plus shipping funnel, whether it is a deadline funnel, whether it is a high ticket application funnel, we're going to first begin by thinking about, well, where is our audiences hanging out, right? Our ideal audiences, are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on TikTok? And chances are we want to be able to think about how can we maximize all these different platforms and make the most out of every single piece of content that we put out there. So right now, trends are always changing, and how platforms always evolve over time is kind of like this. Usually when a platform is new, that's when organic is going to be the strongest. And as time goes by, and as the platforms make more money, as more advertisers hop on, organic reach will eventually fall over time. We've seen that with Facebook pages. Then we've seen that with Instagram. And right now, the thing that is extremely strong in terms of organic is TikTok, right? But the problem is TikTok, even though organic is strong, it doesn't necessarily mean that a lot of your potential buyers are hanging on TikTok. So the question is then, what should we do if TikTok has got a very strong organic, but at the same time, it may not be as qualified in terms of their buying power as other platforms? So how I think about this is, what if we could devise a strategy where we could create content on all these different platforms while giving the platform what it is that they want, so that they reward us for it organically. But then we are also able to take that short form content and turn it into an asset that lives on forever, so that it can help us generate more leads and more sales over time. Okay, so let's talk about how we can do that. So if you think about Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, TikTok, they all follow a similar format. What is that format? The format would be vertical mode, where the video takes up the entire screen. And this one format is the same throughout these 4 channels, right? Reels, Shorts, Facebook, and TikTok. So this means that if we wanted to repurpose and make the most out of every single piece of video, we should start off utilizing this format first for this specific channel. Now, obviously, in order to maximize and repurpose and multiply content, there's many ways of doing it. I would love to be able to focus on this one technique and really go in depth for this specific time that we have. So let's talk about how we can make this happen. And by the way, Jack, sometimes I tend to get overexcited. Feel free to chime in or cut me off anytime if you feel you have any specific questions. And to be clear about this one thing, it's like I don't consider myself to be an influencer. I don't, I'm not the type of person who enjoy taking, pictures of what I ate that day or travel and show off like what's happening behind the scenes. I just understand the importance of utilizing social media to get more leads and convert leads to sales. So In order to do this well, okay, let's begin with the entire process. Okay, so the process first begins by beginning with the end in mind. So how do we begin with the end in mind? By taking a look at what's trending. Okay, and when it comes to looking at what's trending, to play this game, to really make sure that we're able to maximize our reach on, again, Facebook, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok, a good way to start is by looking at three things. Okay, what's trending in terms of, number one, the hashtag. So how can I see what hashtag is trending? The second thing that we can take a look at is we can start off by taking a look at a specific effect or filter that is trending. And the third one, the third method we can begin with the end in mind is by taking a look at a trending sound or a trending music. And the reason why we want to begin with this is because if we begin with this process, even if you have 0 followers, this is how you get discovered. This is how the algorithm is going to reward you for creating content based on what people are already browsing or searching for. Okay, so hashtags, effects, and sounds. Now, why is this important? It is because when you do this right, what's going to happen is if you understood the mindset of how people on TikTok behave, and I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit this, but I've been spending a little bit too much time on TikTok in the recent weeks for research, right? And you'll notice that one of the things that TikTok and all these platforms, the one thing they all want to do is their goal is to keep their viewers and their audiences on their platform for all eternity, right? So what do they do in order to make sure that happens? They want to make sure that if somebody is watching a relevant challenge or hashtag, a relevant trending effect or filter, or a trending sound or music, a person, they want to make it so that when they're scrolling, they're going to see similar content that they just watched, because that's how people behave. So if you create and ride on something that's trending, that means the odds of it being discovered is going to be significantly higher. So imagine if we began with that, right? Based on one of these three angles here. And once we did that, here, what's going to happen next? Now, the way we can do this is just as simple as going to the Discover tab, right? And seeing what's trending. And I want you to anticipate this, right? All of you, as you're watching this, when you go to Discover and see what's trending, sometimes you will see the goofiest, silliest things on TikTok where you would have never imagined that one video would have like 300 million views of something that's totally either bizarre, makes no sense, not even funny, might even decrease your level of intelligence, right? In some cases. But that's what's trending. And the thing that we want to be able to do is we want to start off by thinking about, well, how can I create a video based on what's trending, but based on my own take on it? Okay. And I'm going to give you guys examples so that you guys will be able to see how that works. So recently, when I started doing this, this strategy, and again, I don't consider myself to be an influencer. I'm not a TikToker. My goal is not to build up millions of followers on TikTok. But again, I do it because I understand the importance of using it as a lead gen to convert leads to sales. Okay. So recently, I posted this video on TikTok, and this 28-second video, which was called Schools in 2042, reached close to about 800,000 views in about 24 hours. Okay. And I can tell you that my following on TikTok at that time was like not much. And by saying maybe it was just a small existing following from other social media followers that platforms that kind of spill over. And it was like maybe about close to 20,000. Okay. So I didn't have a large following on TikTok. But what happened was when I posted this, you'll notice that this video, 99% of people that watched this video was from the For You page, meaning the people that watched it are mainly not my followers. And you'll see that about 44% watched the full video, which is a metric that all platforms look at, which is basically your retention. And the crazy part is this video, it wasn't even original, meaning the sound for this video was just a trending sound. So I wasn't being original. I wasn't being creative. All I did was I looked at a trending sound and I created my own version of this video for this trending sound. So the question is, well, what's the purpose, right? So what was the result? Well, the result was about 800,000 views, about 100,000 people liked it. And I got a few thousand followers as a result of this. Total amount of sales made from this video, zero, nothing, okay? So we first got to understand that if we play this organic game and if this ends here, right, chances are the amount of sales and leads that we'll get is probably going to be zero in most cases. And if you think about the whole influencer marketing game, that's why a lot of influencers struggle, because this is where they stop, right? They create some viral, funny, goofy video, and then it ends there. They have no idea how to monetize. So what I do is I take things one step further, because I understand and recognize that this video and most trending videos probably serve as a great hook as an ad. Okay. Now this video over here, I'm going to show you a few different examples of what I mean. Okay. So this next video over here, same thing. It is based on a trending filter. So this one is not a sound, but rather a filter. Okay. And this filter is called multiple me, where, and I'll show you guys how this looks like in a second. So this one filter here, when I posted this about last year, it got about, 100,000 views. But again, sales made from this one video, nothing. However, so this one video over here, when I posted it, let's just take a look at how it looks like on TikTok. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this video, as you can see, it got about 100,000 views, about 4,000 likes. But on TikTok, right, about 2,700 shares. But again, on TikTok, it doesn't mean anything, right? You get vanity metrics. So at the same time, we got to appreciate this one thing. And what we got to be able to appreciate is anything that's trending probably means that it was a great pattern interrupt. It was a great scroll stopper. And if we were to create this video from scratch on our own with no tools and we were handed like, I don't know, Photoshop or something, it would be a lot of work to just create this 15-second or so to create this effect, right? So because this was a trending effect called multiple me, what I did was I took this same video and I turned it into an ad. Now this ad over here, as you can see, this ad had about 300,000 views. And as we all know, Facebook is pretty much a pay-to-play game. However, this ad here made me a lot of money. Why? Well, let's take a look at it again. You're going to notice that it starts off the same way. However, the middle and the end is going to be a little bit different, right? Now, this video is about 2 minutes long. We don't need to play the whole video, but let me just play you the main essence of it so that you can understand the thought process behind it. Okay, so it looks like something like this. And cut. Hey, this is Peng Joon here, and it's true, life of a content creator can be tough. It seems like you're juggling all these different things. And the truth is, this video right here was originally from TikTok. And the reason why I created that video is because, as you guys can see, I'm a huge fan of Marvel. And when it comes to building omnipresence, when it comes to being everywhere, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, on ads, whatever platform. Okay, so let me just pause this. We don't have to play the whole video here. But you notice what I'm doing right now? I'm transitioning into some form of a story, right? So I always think about what is trending or organic on TikTok, and if I were to begin that process there, then I'm thinking about, well, how can I take this asset that I just created so that I can turn it into this marketing asset that works for me forever, so that I can use it to promote my products, my funnels, and to feed the funnel. So now over here, you'll notice that I'm still utilizing the same open, right, that was posted organically on TikTok. However, in the middle over here, what's happening is I am now transitioning into some sort of story so that the hook is now not just clickbait. It's related to the hook, which is life of a content creator, right? Over here, I'm telling the story that, content creation can be tough. And then at the end of it all, what do? I will have an offer, right? So this would be a typical hook story offer framework. So notice what I'm doing over here, right? At 1:55 towards the end, this is where I'm saying, so I'm running this webinar. And by the way, if you want to be omnipresent, if you want to be everywhere, I will urge you to join me for this upcoming webinar, right? So notice that the segment has got 3 parts. There's the hook, which is organically what's posted on TikTok or on Instagram Reels. And then I will create my own versions of some sort of story to back up the hook, and then the offer. And now, guess what? This ad is what makes me money. Why? Because this ad here is no longer just another boring, cheesy, dry ad, right? But it's got an interesting hook. It's got a great open based on what's trending. There's some sort of story behind it that backs up the hook so that it's not clickbait. And finally, there's an offer behind it. And guess what? So because of this process, this now is an asset where if I can acquire customers less than their lifetime value, this one video over here, which is about 2 minutes and 20 seconds long, becomes a marketing asset for me that's going to work for me forever, as long as it's able to help me get more leads, help me drive more sales, and as long as the cost to acquire a customer is less than their lifetime value, right? So now there's purpose in creating these silly TikTok videos. Now, initially, the reason why I never believed in TikTok or doing anything like that is because I didn't see the reasoning behind creating these, goofy looking videos. Or maybe it's because, I don't know how to dance. So therefore, I'm hating on these TikTok videos. However, because now there's an ROI associated to it, however, because there is a much bigger picture associated to creating these videos, that where I understand the ultimate end objective, which is not about, the 100,000 or the 1 million views on TikTok, that doesn't really mean anything. But the fact that it enables me to create a really good hook, a really good open, now I get the best of both worlds. I get to play the game and give the algorithm what it is that they want on TikTok and Instagram. So I can take this same video and post it on Instagram, which is what I do. Then I would be able to take this same video and create the longer video on platforms like Facebook, because Facebook is now a pay-to-play game. And because it's an interesting ad with an amazing hook, with an amazing open, this decreases the cost of me to acquire a lead and to acquire a customer, and to be actually proud of the ad as well, because now it's not just another boring ad.
I just want to make sure, I think it all came together for me at the end. So if we rewind 5 minutes, I was a little bit in the dark. I didn't want to jump in, but I was a little bit in the dark and confused about, okay, what's the purpose of even doing this on TikTok? But I think what just came together for me is that you're utilizing TikTok to see what sort of effects and sounds are trending. So it's a little bit of a research tool, right? And I think what I'm hearing is that the filters, my knowledge of TikTok is like this much. But my experience with TikTok is just telling my daughters, take it off your phone over and over again. And they keep reinstalling it. So I've never actually put TikTok on my phone. I'm a little bit afraid to, but my understanding is that there are filters that come with TikTok that once you know, okay, this filter and this sound, these are trending, then you can start to think about, okay, how can I use that as a hook? And you're using TikTok because those filters live, I'm guessing, live in TikTok. And it just makes it easy to just grab your phone and to just do the video. And then you take that video and then you use it in the places where you can actually generate an ROI, like Facebook and possibly Instagram. Is that correct?
That's right. Absolutely. And the effects is just one of the three things, right? It could be a trending hashtag, right? Or it could be a trending sound as well. And sometimes if you were to, if a person were to do that thing from scratch, it's a lot of work, right? To create the same effect that TikTok is literally handing over to you.
I see.
And now, because we do that, we're now able to increase our organic reach on TikTok and Instagram, which may not have any tangible short-term ROI, but because we can use that to still build a following, right, organically. But the thing that would be tangible is when we are able to repurpose that into a direct response ad that serves as a great open and hook. That's how we'll be able to get a positive ROI as a result of creating these videos.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So let me ask this. Why aren't you taking the longer Facebook version of the ad, sorry, the longer video that you're using as an ad in Facebook? Why aren't you using that on Instagram?
As in posting that video on Instagram, the long form?
Yeah.
It is because due to the, okay, so how it works is that if we were to take the long form video that's on Facebook and put on Instagram, the algorithm is not going to reward us for it, because the algorithm looks at three things, right? They look at watch time, they look at retention, they look at your engagements as one of the few key metrics. And usually if it's a long form direct response type of video, you're going to see a sharp decline right after the interesting hook. So when it's just the hook, what happens is, like, based on the stats that you saw earlier, you saw like a close to 50% completion rate. Why? Because the entire video is this fast engaging thing. However, if you posted that full-fledged 3, 5, 15-minute long form, which was meant for an ad organically on Instagram, that's when your organic reach is going to be killed. Why? Because the platform will be able to see that your retention is low. And for that reason, once you reach a specific mark, Instagram is not going to show it to more people. However, if your completion rate is high, then organically, Instagram is going to feature your reel in their explore section. And that's how you'll be able to get a bigger reach, even if you might have not, you don't have many followers right now.
Awesome. Yeah, you can tell so I'm sort of like the earlier version of you. Like, my desire to be all over social media is really, really low. So I'm probably asking some really obvious questions. Hey, so Peng, I know that there's some things that we want to cover in the advanced session, but I want to make sure, did you cover everything that you wanted to cover in the main session? I know that this has been really, really info packed, and it's been fascinating. I'm learning new stuff because, like I said, I don't pay attention to TikTok, but I'm hearing more and more marketers talk about it. So it's great to hear the ins and outs of how you're actually using it. So let me throw it back to you. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover in the main session before we jump into the advanced session?
Yeah, perhaps I can just wrap this up by showing a few more examples I put in the slides here.
Yeah, perfect.
As you guys can see, what happens is when we post this video up, right, on TikTok, you'll notice that there's a few things that you want to probably take into account, right? These two videos are the same video. One is on TikTok, one is on Facebook ads. A couple of things. So number one, if you are utilizing a trending sound, just like this one, sometimes your sound or music might get automatically flagged by Facebook. So there's a little hack in order to make sure your ad gets approved and you do not get automatically red flagged. And that would be to distort the music. So one of the things that you might notice is that like this sound here obviously was from like the Marvel theme song, right? Now, chances are there could be a possibility that if I utilize the original sound, it will automatically get flagged and the Facebook ad won't even get approved. So one of the things that my team would do is they distort the sound to make it either higher or lower pitched so that it doesn't get flagged, right? These are just little things that you could, just do in order to make sure that the ad doesn't get disapproved. Okay, so that's what happened here for this video. And you'll notice that when you do this right, you'll notice everything goes up, right? Your shares goes up, your reaction goes up, your comments goes up, and all these different things, they're all engagements. And that's really what platforms and social media platforms cares about. The only thing they care about is your engagements. And if your engagements are high, even though it's an ad, then it's going to do well. There's going to be a spillover effect where even though you are paying to get more reach, because of the shares and people are sharing on your feed, you'll be able to maximize your ad spend because your organic based on the ad is going to be higher as well for that reason, right? So this is one of the reasons why when we do this, our ads are for these type of videos, they will usually in most cases perform better than just yet another direct response ad, where a person goes up saying, hey, I've got this amazing offer. Where else this thing makes it, the retention significantly longer. So one of the things that we do is for all of our different type of funnels, a lot of them, how we manage our creatives is basically that we would have the hook, right? Just to quickly summarize, we might have the hook on TikTok repurposed into Instagram as Instagram Reels. And then after that, we would create the long form on Facebook as an ad. And we'll do that over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that's how we scaled to literally over 30,000 active ads. Some of them, or many of them, are duplicates. But this is how we scaled to avoid ad fatigue, which is going to be a problem many of you will face when you have an offer inside a funnel that's profitable. But when you start seeing your ad cost or cost per lead shoot up because of ad fatigue, this would be also a great way to combat ad fatigue and to make all that happen, right? So I'm going to leave the ad process and how we create processes around this thing, because if you don't have a process in place, it's going to probably drive you nuts, drive you insane. But that's hopefully this strategy is going to help you get more ad ideas, even if you feel you're not a creative person, help you improve the performance of your ads, be everywhere and omnipresent on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram by utilizing their shorts, reels, TikTok, and also on Facebook by making your ads a lot more interesting while reducing your cost of getting a lead and a sale.
So this has been great. One quick question, and maybe we could keep the answer as short as possible. So we didn't talk a whole lot about YouTube Shorts. Are you taking the short form and uploading that to YouTube Shorts?
Right now, I am not. And the reason for that is because I've had many different theories. I have a friend who's very big on YouTube, and he feels that when you have shorts, it makes your YouTube channel, there's too much content to follow. Especially if you're somebody that's publishing content pretty consistently. So there's two answers to this. This would be, if right now you've got no content on YouTube, then posting this on YouTube Shorts would be better than nothing. But if you're already pretty consistent and you're posting 1 to 3 times or 5 times a week on YouTube, then you shouldn't do it, because that's when your viewers will not be able to catch up with all of your content.
Awesome. All right. So I think that's a good spot for us to end that main session. And you already heard from Peng that in the advanced session, we're going to go over how to take the strategy you just learned about and put it into a streamlined process. So I want you to join us in that advanced session before the price goes up. So click one of the buttons that you see right around this page, on the page right around this video. So the special deal for that upgrade for the all access pass is yours, as long as you don't let procrastination take it away. I'm the founder of deadline funnel. So of course, there's a deadline for you to take action on that. So now before we go, Peng, I want to make sure that you tell everyone how they can learn more about you. And also just if you have any closing thoughts before we say goodbye.
Perfect. So everything I taught today, ultimately, in order to maximize every single lead that comes in, you got to have some sort of sales process. So that's why I created my software, Cartnetics. It is basically to put a sales process into place. And if you want to be able to go check it out, we offer a free 14-day trial. It's just at cartnetics.com. Go ahead and create a free 14-day trial so you can put a proven sales process into place.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll continue the conversation in that advanced session. I'll see everyone over there.